Let me ask you a question. Is your computer display calibrated? Let's find out. Do you see 6 circles on your screen? The circles on the left should be faint and barely visible, but you should be able to see them. For photography, most monitors need to be calibrated because the factory settings are usually just too bright. If you make brightness and contrast adjustments using a photo editor, this creates images that are usually too dark when printed. It also stands to reason when surfing the internet, you'll not be seeing images the way the maker actually intended. If your monitor is calibrated properly, black should be a deep black and white should be crisp with detail, and subtle colors will also display better. In this monitor test image, detail should be seen everywhere, even in the shadows. I'll get to calibrating with free software in a minute, but first I want to talk a bit about color sensor devices for calibration. Serious photographers should consider a calibration system like the Huey Pro or the Color Monkey. I personally use a Color Monkey to calibrate not only my monitor but also a projector and a printer. With the hardware systems, the color sensor is placed in front of the display and it collects data from different levels of red, green, blue, and white. Software can only collect one level of data from each color. Hence, the hardware-based calibration is superior. That being said, the software solution is still amazingly good and, best of all, extremely economical. Most users of Windows 7 do not realize that Microsoft has included in the operating system a way to calibrate your monitor. Now, I don't recommend it, but I think you should be aware of it, and I'm going to show it to you by clicking on Start, typing in the word Display. One of the items in the list is Calibrate Display Color. Clicking on that will bring up a window with instructions on it. I'm going to quickly page through here to the first adjustment, which is adjusting the gamma. You adjust this slider until the circles in this square become blended together. The next adjustment, and I'm going to quickly page through here again, is adjusting your red and your green and your blue sliders. Microsoft says to adjust those until the color cast is completely gone from these gray bars and you are left with a neutral gray color. The problem is not everybody knows what neutral gray looks like, and therein lies the problem and why I don't recommend this software. In my opinion, the absolutely best software option is QuickGamma. There are 2 versions of QuickGamma, one for Windows Vista and XP, and another for Windows 7 and versions beyond Windows 7. I've posted download links and installation instructions at ptgamma.com. ptgamma.com is actually part of the Phototopics website, but I wouldn't go there quite yet. I'd finish watching the video before I do the installation. So let's take a look at how QuickGamma works. When you open QuickGamma, you'll be presented with a user account control. And the reason for this is Microsoft, starting with Windows 7, put some extra security measures into the operating system. And what this is really asking you is if you want to let QuickGamma install ICC profiles for your monitor. And so you should just click Yes and continue on. When QuickGamma finishes installing, it will automatically bring up its help file screen. There's one last thing you need to do before you actually start using QuickGamma. Click on Prerequisites and install the runtime libraries. There's a lot of other helpful information in the help file, so when you get time, I would go ahead and read it. If you don't already have the installation instructions up on your screen, go down to Internet Explorer and open that up. Go to your URL bar and type in ptgamma.com. That'll bring you back to here. The first thing we need to do is open up the Phototopics gamma chart. This can be moved around. If you need to go through the video tutorial again, you can click here. It'll open it up. You can reposition the screen. I don't need it, so we're going to close it out. Go ahead and open QuickGamma. Click yes on the user account control, and you can reposition the QuickGamma window too. This is a grayscale adjustment. We're not going to use that because the better way to use QuickGamma is to actually adjust the red, the green, and the blue independently. So if you go up here and click on Gamma, that will bring up the QuickGamma chart. The generally accepted standard for Gamma is 2.2. The Phototopics Gamma chart here is set at a fixed value of 2.2. The Gamma chart over here for QuickGamma gives you the option of adjusting between 1.6 and 2.4. But since we're only interested in 2.2, we're only going to be using the Phototopics Gamma chart. You can find instructions on how to use the QuickGamma chart in their help file. They have a pretty good tutorial there. So making the actual adjustments is quite easy. First, let's adjust the red level. And in the red rectangle over here, you will see two squares, one on the left, one on the right. Well, watching these two squares, if you change the red level by either increasing it with the plus button or decreasing it with the minus button, and as you're doing that, you watch the two squares, you will find a point at which the two squares become blended together and they actually look like one color. Once that happens, you've reached a gamma level of 2.2. Just a suggestion, if you sit back from your screen about 2 feet, maybe even squint your eyes a little bit, it'll help you see when those two squares have blended together. So, go ahead and do the same thing for the green and the blue. Once you've adjusted everything so that all of the squares are blended together, you're done with your calibration. You can go over here and click on OK. The only other thing you need to do is you need to make sure that for Windows 7 the sRGB button has been pressed and the button is highlighted. For Vista and XP, you want to make sure that the standby support button is enabled. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and click on OK. That'll open up a window that says that your ICC profile has been saved, and all you need to do then is X out. That's it. You're done calibrating. But before I end, just a word about displays. First, be sure to let your monitor warm up for 30 minutes before doing your final calibration. Second, you need to know that all monitors are not created equal, and not all monitors are capable of displaying the full range of gamma levels. In other words, even after being calibrated, you may not be able to see all 6 circles on the Phototopics Gamma chart. And unless you have an in-plane switching monitor, changing your viewing angle will drastically change the apparent gamma level. If you're using a notebook computer, just change the angle of the screen while watching the gamma chart, and you'll see what I mean. You might want to consider downloading the Phototopics Gamma chart and view it from time to time to see how your screen is doing. Until then, this is the best you can do with the display you have. That's it. You can now go to ptgamma.com and follow the installation instructions to install QuickGamma. And be sure to visit phototopics.net for more photography articles.